All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. We're talking about the Pittsburgh Steelers in tonight's video. They're currently underway at mini camps, and I get it, man. OTAs, mini camp, it's very boring. It's very vanilla. We're seeing hyped headlines for every single team in the National Football League. But hey, I'm gonna take everything I can get from here for the next 5 or 6 weeks because that's the dead of the offseason. Every report, every rumor, Russell Wilson finds the fountain of youth after Steelers trade. He's revived in every way. Everything you're reading right now that you kind of roll your eyes at, you'll be missing this in about 3 weeks. So welcome back to the channel. We're talking about the Pittsburgh Steelers, minicamp, OTAs, all that fun stuff in tonight's video. But before we do, if you guys enjoy it, be sure to hit that like button, hit that sub button for daily NFL content. We're trying to get this video to 100 likes. I would really appreciate it. I just want to recap minicamp so far and OTAs and just the Steelers in general here. We just heard the Steelers offensive coordinator Arthur Smith talk, and he mentioned how he loves the versatility of Pittsburgh skill players. And the main headline, the main storyline for Pittsburgh all offseason, and it will continue to be all the way up until Russell Wilson is named the day one starter, is who's going to be the day one starter. And with that, you also have the wide receiver 2 talks. We talked about that in our last Steelers video. George Pickens, Roman Wilson, Van Jefferson, Pat Freiermuth, Jaylen Warren. There's a bunch of skilled players all across the board, as Arthur Smith alludes here. He said this quote, "We've got a lot of guys that can play multiple spots," Smith said. "I really like the depth that we've got up front." So Broderick Jones, Troy Fautanu, Dan Moore, they've been playing both tackle spots. They've also worked rookie Mason McCormick at both right guard and left guard. You've got Pat Freiermuth, who's already spoken highly of the usage of tight ends in the offense. He's been lined up in the slot close to the line of scrimmage on top of having his hand in the dirt as a true tight end. So, I'm sure Arthur Smith has the same sentiment, the same opinion as me. There's a lot of versatility all across the board here. George Pickens, rising star. We'll talk about him in just a second here. You got guys even a little bit deeper. Cordell Patterson, Quez Watkins. You've got obviously Calvin Austin III, Roman Wilson, a rookie, lining up in the slot. Pat Freiermuth, Darnell Washington, Najee Harris, Jaylen Warren. There is enough talent offensively, especially having this quarterback in town, that Pittsburgh should make some noise. But as I keep alluding to, and I'll leave this video, this is the last I'll talk about in wide receivers for this room, or the wide receiver room in this video. If you want to just take that leap and be like legitimate Super Bowl contenders, you will have to make a trade for Brandon Ayuk or Cortland Sutton or Chris Godwin. But don't count out. I just saw a really interesting trade idea. It was with KJ Osborne. He's over in New England. But the only thing with that is it's going to take a little bit for that to come to fruition. So even if Pittsburgh doesn't, which, to be honest with you, even though we keep hearing rumors, we keep hearing rumblings about a big time trade, it doesn't really feel like they're going to make a move like that, but don't count it out that it won't happen before the trade deadline. And then finally, we have Steelers offensive coordinator Arthur Smith talking special packages for quarterback Justin Fields. So we heard a couple of weeks ago, a month ago, Jaylen Warren was talking about the Steelers using Justin Fields on kick returns. That was immediately shut down. There was also some talk about Justin Fields being a gadget player and coming in for special packages designed by Steelers' new offense coordinator, Arthur Smith. But Arthur Smith had this to say: "It's too early." He told Missy Matthews of Steeler.com this on Monday. Both these guys, they're playing quarterback. They're out here competing. We know where we're at in the part of the year. We're playing football in shorts as we're trying to improve, get to know everybody, and the chemistry right with everybody in the offense. It'll be a fun time watching those guys compete once we get to training camp. All right, so finishing up on the offensive talk, it was cool to see Russell Wilson say this about George Pickens: "There's only so many people in the world that can do what George can do. I've been fortunate to play around some special receivers, and he's that guy. He's definitely one of those for sure." So Mike Tomlin also got extended, his contract extended. He will be the head coach for the Pittsburgh Steelers for several more seasons. We saw this tweet here from Matt Williamson: "Since 2020, the Steelers have the 6th best winning percentage in the NFL and one of the very worst QB situations in the entire league." So not necessarily now or never. It felt like that a couple of weeks ago before Mike Tomlin's contract was extended. But folks, Pittsburgh has not won a playoff game in way too long. It's been way too many years and years of Pittsburgh not winning a playoff game. And, we can go back and look at last season and the TJ Watt injury, Matt Canada, Kenny Pickett situation, very unideal. But Pittsburgh very clearly has a playoff team. Very clearly, guys. This defense we'll talk about in just a second is absolutely loaded, and you need to win a playoff game. All right, so moving on forward, Terrell Austin said he plans to deploy Minkah Fitzpatrick more as the deep safety after playing him in the box and in the slot more last year. He said this: I probably failed in that regard because we tried to have him do too much stuff, Austin said. So according to PFF, Minkah aligned in the box a career high 12.12 snaps per game last year. That was up from 7.7 in 2022. Pass rushed a career high 1.7 times per game. That was up from 0.7 in 2022. And in the slot, 8.0 coverage snaps per game, up 5.13 in 2020. So Minkah had statistically the worst season of his career. I know he was banged up for a little bit there towards the middle end of the season, but Minkah underutilized last year. Kind of reminds me of a similar situation to how Pat Freiermuth was moved or used offensively. Terrell Austin also praised sharp Patrick Queen, who will be out there on every snap. It's several months into the Patrick Queen free agent acquisition. In some way, somehow, that move is still being underappreciated across NFL media, but they will understand that very soon. I mean, guys, just real quick roster check: Larry Ogunjobi, Keanu Benton, Cam Hayward, TJ Watt, Patrick Queen, Landon Roberts, Alex Highsmith, Joey Porter Jr., Deshaun Elliott, Minkah Fitzpatrick, Dante Jackson, Cam Sutton, new addition. Cam Sutton, however, now that we're on the topic, he'll probably have like a 6-8 game suspension heading into this upcoming season. But I do like the role he's penciled in for right now, because I think Detroit, his plan last season was to be cornerback one, and I think the pressure was just a little bit too high. Steelers also considering making Peyton Wilson team's dime linebacker. So last season in college football, the dude was a freaking stud. Peyton Wilson, he's 4 interceptions, past 2 seasons, 4 interceptions, a pick 6, 221 total tackles. The only reason he fell late 3rd round, we know by now, obviously, it's just a high risk, high reward type of player. 2 torn ACLs and a shoulder injury that kept him out of all but 2 games in 2021. So the only reason Peyton Wilson fell to the late 3rd round was because of the injury concern. But I'm telling you, dude, if this guy's healthy, he's any player that says I'm ready to die out on the field is destined for greatness. I would pencil in a bet for Peyton Wilson to be Defensive Rookie of the Year. I just don't know how many snaps he's going to see because Pittsburgh's defense is so loaded, but I have a feeling it's going to be hard to keep him off of the field after training camp in a month or so. So that's it for today. If you guys enjoyed it, hit that like button, hit that sub button for daily NFL content. Steelers fans, let me know your thoughts coming out of minicamp thus far, and we will see you soon. Peace.